on the property. The pear trees, they started communicating to me, and I was like, oh snap, these trees are telling me to take care of them, and because nobody takes care of them, and they've been there forever, and they're self-sustainable, like nobody does anything, they grow every year, and they're so fruitful. Like this past season, the pear trees, they were like, they were telling me to come and pick from certain trees. Like they were just dropping from the tree. And I'm like, oh wow, this is very, very interesting. You're telling me to come pick you. And I was like, wow, okay. So like, just being here, the pear trees, and not only just the pear trees, but there's a lot of oaks on this land. And those trees, they've been here forever and they're always talking.
Listen, I, I went down to Florida for Emperor's coronation, and I stopped in Orlando to see Arisha Stone. Right, me and Arisha Stone go to this park. He say, come on, let's go show honors to the old ancestor tree right here." So I walk up to the tree, I put my hands on the tree, and then I hear the tree say, "I know you ain't gonna stand there and not take your shoes off. You know I can't tell you what I need to tell you if you don't take your shoes off." So I started laughing. He said, "What you laughing at?" I said, "Damn, tree told me to take my shoes off." So I took my shoes
Okay.
off. I stood up. I stood on the roots of the tree, right? And he started showing me shit. He say, I'm an old guy. I've been around a while. I've seen some stuff. So I'm sitting there, I'm letting the tree talk to me, and I'm thinking, I like, if I try to tell anybody this, they think I need some fucking Prozac or some fucking Thorazine or something. So the tree telling me I got a message I need to send back to the trees up there by you because I ain't been able to communicate with them in a while. I said, okay. So I go put my hands on the tree, and the tree talking to me. So the tree tell me, he said, "You know what, y'all humans are really funny." And I'm like, "What you mean?" He said, "They be laying up under the tree having sex like I can't see them." He didn't say having sex. He said fucking. He said the human be laying up under the tree. They be getting it in. They be fucking and everything, doing all kind of depraved acts of sex, and they think I can't see him. And he just bust out laughing. Oh, Hardy, George Burns laugh, right? Old man laugh. And so I'm so tripping. Then we got ready to leave. The uh, the lady, the girl was out there with us. She asked me how old the tree was. I'm like, "I don't know how old that tree is. You got to be at least 100 and some years old." The tree said, "I'm not 100 and some years old. I'm 150 rings."
Yo, that tree said, "Don't walk up in my house with your shoes on."
Yeah. He said, he said, "I'm 150 rings. We don't count our age in years. We count our age in rings." I'm like, man,
Rings.
look,
Wow.
that tree had me dying laughing. So right, I forget to go touch the tree when I get home, right? So I'll be
Mm-hmm.
home for about almost 2 weeks. So I'm laying in the bed smoking the blunt. I hear the tree say, "So US ain't gonna let me talk to the trees up there by you, huh?" I'm looking around the room like, who the fuck is that? He said, "Oh, you forgot about the tree in Florida already?" I said, "Oh shit, I forgot." So I ran outside to this big ass tree by the driveway, right? I take my shoes off, stand on the roots, and as soon as my palms touch the tree, all the trees in the neighborhood bust out laughing. They cracking jokes like a mug. He telling me
Yo.
about the freaky humans under the trees and all kind of stuff. Man, I'm
That's
sitting here
crazy.
listening to all these trees laughing. I'm like, damn, this sounds like a Dave Chappelle show or something. All this goddamn giggling going on. Let me take my ass in the house. I'm in the house and this I hear the muffled laughs outside. All the trees in the neighborhood is getting the information from the tree in
Oh
Florida.
my gosh. That's
I'm like,
crazy.
this shit is crazy.
No, like they be I listen, when I go and I sit by the pear trees, I swear they be telling me all the tea. All the
they,
tea. I'm like, so you
they
mean to
love to
tell
talk.
me?
Trees love to talk. People think you crazy, but the trees love to give you information about their area. And then they
Yes.
got a network where,
Yes.
where
Yes.
and
Yes.
that shit had me dying laughing. I was like, these damn trees. And I've been hearing animals talk since I was a baby. They used to call me Dr. Doolittle when I was little.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, the trees be telling. Oh, the cats too. The cats too on this land.
Oh yeah.
They're like they show up and they're coming to let you know this. They're showing up as different energies and they're showing you like they come at divine times. Like they're like, "Oh, message. I have a message for you." Like they show up in divine times and they're very protective and
Especially women and young girls.
yes, yes. Me and my children, they are very protective over us, and they they literally talk.
Yeah. Look,
They
when the
literally
women
talk.
start moving spirit energy, you can tell by watching the cats. They get restless. If you're in the house with a very powerful woman spiritually and she about to move some spirit energy, the cat is restless. He's jumping around like he has some what they call that stuff they get
Catnip,
catnip.
catnip. Yes, they be jumping off the
They be
roof.
acting just like they had catnip because you move in that spiritual energy and they get excited to see the women tapping back into that energy, that frequency, that love frequency energy. They get happy, so they start acting giddy. And it looked like
Mhm.
to the onlooker, the cat looked like he had catnip or something.
Yes, I be seeing that all the time. Now I want to show you something real quick. I
I
want to
can't
show
see
you
my
something.
screen.
You can't see nothing?
Mm-mm. I haven't seen
What
Aaron
happened?
Caller on here, but the people watching could see it.
Okay, well, um, maybe I can read you something.
Yeah.
So, um, I'm gonna show y'all though. So basically, my fiance, he had this job and he ended up moving over to this land with me. And um, he was working for a moving company, and he was moving like different plantation homes.
Mhm.
And he was always bringing home like different literature, and it was always something. It was always something he was bringing home, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I really wasn't believing a lot of this stuff until he started showing up with stuff, and I was like, oh, so they really do got the literature over there. They really do got a lot of stuff over there. So basically one day he came home and he had did a clear out, which he was just throwing out all the stuff that the owner didn't want in the house. He came home with a peace pipe, and on the peace pipe it had the feathers that was on the peace pipe was his life path number.
The
So
number of feathers, you mean?
yeah, yeah. So there's four feathers on the top. I'm about to show it to y'all. So we got four feathers on the top, and it literally has something on it. So there's a ripped piece of note on a piece of leather, and it says, I'm gonna read it to y'all. So it says, "Peace pipe made with a elk antler bow bowl decorated with a brass glass and hair bone something um bear's glass seed beads, brass bells, and turkey feathers." Ooh, it fell. Okay. Um, and then it had uh an arrow with it that has four feathers on the arrow.
Is the arrow attached to the pipe? I can't see it, so I gotta ask.
It is it attached to the pipe? No, it's not attached to the pipe, but it has the same material on it, like it goes to it.
Yeah, they was given in sets to the brave. Okay, so if I had a young guy that was about to be initiated to his training into chiefdom,
Mhm.
I would give him a set, peace pipe, and a spear, war and peace. The set goes
Okay.
together. Sometimes they come in a handmade leather, like sheath, where both of them fit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they normally come with that. If that's missing, then you should probably have one made.
Okay.
And yeah,
Yeah,
hold
because
on
that
to
was
that.
that wasn't with it, but the arrow and the peace pipe was with it, and it's in really good condition. You can still read what it says.
Yeah. Is your fiance? Is he a brother?
Yes.
Hmm.
He you could speak with him. You follow him on Instagram as well. He makes music. Here.
Peace, God.
Peace, God, peace.
How you
So look,
feeling today?
I'm feeling good. How about yourself?
I'm feeling wonderful, man. I appreciate you for asking.
Yeah. So that particular artifact you got,
Hmm.
um, find you a Native American around in your area that makes crafts. When you show it to him, he might not charge you, but pay him
Hmm.
anyway. If you have
Right.
to make up a price to pay him, but ask him to make you a sheath or carrying case for that, and tell him if he can, you want it out of either what was that elk that bone they use?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah, so you want to try to get it made out of elk hide if possible. If not, any kind of deer that's natural to the land, all of the deer is natural. The bison, the moose, you can, but you would prefer elk if you can get the elk hide.
You said, what is it called again?
It's a sheath. It's a carrying case for the pipe and the spear. They're supposed to be in the carrying case. If you go to a elder that makes those and you show it to him and tell him what you want it for,
Hmm.
he might not charge you, but you still want to give him something. It's reciprocity.
Right.
That's cultural tradition. But once he make it, a whole bunch of stuff gonna open up for you because when you properly take care of the ancestral artifact, you activate. Why did that come out twice? You activate the energy of the ancestors to open up the path in your life because you took care of the artifact.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it got four. Both of them have four feathers on it,
Mm-hmm.
and my life path number is a four. And my fiance, well, we got two daughters, and then it's her and me, and our family that we created is, it's four of us, and each of us we all considered, or we all have all four elements. I'm an earth sign. My fiance is an air sign. My daughter, who who came back as her grandmother, she's a water sign, and my other daughter, our oldest daughter, she's a fire sign.
Mm-hmm. So I can take us back to earlier room. I was telling my man about his rap name, Gang. G is the seventh letter,
Yeah.
May. Ang is the avatar. Yeah.
Hmm.
So you got all of the tribes in one. So together y'all can call the ether.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You got your
that's
three sisters.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. I'm gonna let y'all drop down. I might take one more before I go. I'm starting to wear down. So
All right. We appreciate you for having us.
all right. Thank y'all for coming up.
Peace, God.
Okay, Stephanie, you up. Well, I'm waiting on her. Stephanie Bruscato. I supposed to be coming over to Truth Seekers, but I don't know what day they're gonna pick there. I haven't seen it in my messages yet. But Mike Penny asked for me to come back over there. Okay, so I'm not letting her up. Brandy,
Right, it actually worked.
hey, how you doing?
Actually, my front camera is broken. But I do have some questions.
Okay, let's see what we can do for you.
Okay, so you talked about I had caught a live one time and you were talking about hand talk and you mentioned that the sisters was gonna start doing things with their hands. Can you talk about that?
It's natural for us to use our hands in communication. But as the sisters tune in, they'll be able to do hand gestures from a distance and communicate, and don't nobody know what they're talking about but them. That's the crutch to turning back on the hive mind of the matriarchs.
Okay.
It's just a step in the process. This is why what they call American Sign Language. That's how we used to talk across tribes that didn't speak the same language.
Yeah, because that's what I had started doing. Like, what has been like 2-3 years. I've been doing hand talking and just feeling the energy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And what I notice is that I have this connection with the birds. So when I go out and I ground and I meditate, like I can literally call the birds like to me, and they'll circle around. Doesn't matter what bird it is, like they all come. I can even whistle them in, or like a lot of people. It's been like a year. I started teaching myself how to play the guitar. And even when I go outside and I play the guitar, like they come in and they on key with me while I'm playing the guitar.
Yeah, well, we got a connection with the birds to go back to the beginning of time. Do you ever feed them?
Oh, most definitely. I feed them. Sometimes, look, the birds be talking to me. I be trying to explain it to people, but it is what it is. Either you believe me or you don't. That's up to you. But
No,
when
it's
it
not.
comes to me,
Don't
but
explain it to people. Just tell them you love birds, and that's why you do it.
yeah, because they definitely come, and even that, like I went and got my feeder for my window, so I can feed them even while I'm in my office, and then they come in and they look in, and then I sing to them a little bit, play the guitar for them a little bit, and it just be me and the bird. I actually kind of like the birds, the trees, and everything else more than the people nowadays,
Well,
but
you
but
in the Mississippi culture, you have blues singers. They wouldn't sing to nobody but the birds or the animals. They go out in the woods and be singing their heart out. People be like, "Who that singing? They sound so good," and then they come back act like they can't sing. Yeah,
I do that.
yeah, that's culturally ingrained in the genetics.
What about I don't know if I should even say this on it because Facebook is the snitch book, but I have this thing with my hands, right? Where I can pull energy from or pull energy or calm energy and stuff like that. But I use that when I'm messing with when I'm studying Reiki, I think that's what it's called. But I can actually feel the energy when it shifts, when it's in the atmosphere. I can actually feel it,
Mhm.
but it's really really heavy in my right hand.
Your right hand, you right-handed.
I am.
That's your sending hand. It's gonna always feel more stronger than your receiving hand because
Mm-hmm.
you projecting energy is don't feel the same as receiving energy, and that's why this is to balance those two out,
I
and
do
you
that a
can do that.
lot.
Yeah, that's why the monks do this. They balancing their receiving and sending energies, and then they start focusing. You got a chakra in the
Mm-hmm.
palm of your hands and at the soles of your feet.
Look, I've been studying, man. Like I be studying, like for real.
Yeah.
Like just trying to make sure that I'm understanding like what's going on with me, because like it's something about my family. My family. You was talking to my sister earlier, Kimmy, when she was on here. That's when I jumped on. But it's something about my family, man. We some powerful beings, and I just love the fact that everybody is just waking up, and the babies are waking up, and it just, ooh, it just hits my heart. Just, oh, I'm like Drill. Drill was like, I'm finna cry. I'm like, let it flow, baby. I'm finna cry too. I love it. Like I love it. But that's really all. I be sending you stuff too, because when I seen what was going on with the Lumbee tribe, I sent you something and I was like, man, peep this out, man. Peep this out. What they got going on, man. And you responded to, man. I was like, okay, so we all picking up on the same thing.
So, Nina Tuhawk, you don't gotta sell your house, sweetie. Just inbox me. We'll figure something out.
But I am definitely grateful, man. Thank you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can just gratitude, y'all, because this is like the best time for us just to be us. It's
Yeah,
just
you know,
the Lord
now
is
all
in that we in.
yeah, all of the BS is starting to fall by the wayside. It's just that you can't take process out of the equation because everything happens in the process. You got to follow the steps.
Yeah,
And
and you got to be still.
yeah, that's what we
Because I've been
looking
telling
at.
people, don't even respond to this junk, man. Just live in your truth and just vibe high. Don't even worry about the rest of that stuff. But I'd be so glad when the South rise. Boy, when the South rise,
That's gonna be Mardi
boy.
Gras from coast to coast. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. I'm
That's
getting
what they
them
call it.
downloads too. I'm
They
getting them
call it the
downloads too.
20. They call it the 250-year independence celebration, but it's really the freedom from 50 years of oppression
Oppression.
from the Conjure War. See, this stuff's supposed to have been over before I was born. The problem
Oh wow.
was is they couldn't nobody see that these niggas was infiltrating everything we do and tearing it down from the inside. So it looked like we can't get along and we can't work together. All of a sudden, all the time, they was job was to disrupt our unity and to tear down our community and make us want to give up in the fight so that we can let them have our birthright. You can't have it. We don't want to give it to you. You can't take it. It's not up for sale. It's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Notice the agent, notice the principle. We want it all. We want everything blown to us. It just so happened that everything blown
Everything
to us.
along this. Everything. Because I read a lot too, and I'm into genealogy. So I do the genealogy for my family. And then when you hit her with the master 33, I was like, yes, because that's my number. I'm a master 33. So I was like, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I just love it. I ain't got no complaints. I'm just proud of everybody. I'm just like, by time. By time, everybody.
Yeah. So I see Brother Love put Black Hawk, all of the black clans, the Black Wolf, the Black Bear, the Black Eagle, the Black Panther, which is actually a Black Jaguar.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I seen that on one of my downloads too.
yeah.
A lot of the times when I get some of my downloads, what I do is I try to because I dream walk too. So if I get a download, if I'm dream walking, I try to create it and put it into some type of AI form
Mm-hmm.
to try to create it to share it, because it ain't gonna do no good for me holding it in. So I might as well share it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's also you taking it from the fourth dimension, putting it in the two-dimension holographic world, which is
So
gonna
that they
make it
can
have to manifest in the 3D.
mm-hmm,
So yeah.
mm-hmm. But
I want
I
you
didn't want
to
to hold you. I definitely want you to rest, because I
yeah,
know
I'm about
that
spent now. I'm about to wrap
you
it
are
up.
channeling and you are being drained with all these questions. I know that feeling.
Uh,
So
the questions don't bother me, but I'm just getting drained in
yeah.
general. Yeah, and I'm about ready to go rustle me up some vittles now.
Well, Chief, thank you for letting me spend some time with you guys. Thank you.
You
Thank you.
welcome. You welcome.
Gratitude.
I appreciate you coming up.
You're
I appreciate
so
every.
welcome. And look out for me in your inbox, man, because I'm always in your inbox with a question. I'm like, if anybody know anything, I need to go to the chief, because the chief gonna know. And I'll be so glad when we can get these chiefs to walk their
Hey,
lane.
listen. I just want one thing understood. I know a whole lot of shit, but I don't know everything.
Oh, but hey, but if you don't know, you know how to get there.
Yeah.
And the sick
All
ape,
right,
you know what
sweetie.
I'm
I'm gonna talk to
saying?
you
We doing
later. I'm
that
about to
monkey
wrap.
ball shenanigans tonight. So if you got the kiddies in the room, I suggest you go give them a coloring book. You know what I mean? This might be a little bit
Mature.
risque, right, Rod?
Mature.
Mature for mature audiences only. Okay. So peace, everybody. I'm so happy that Rod decided to come on and join me tonight. There's so much going on. We're kind of just gonna go impromptu. So check on in. Oh, they're already checking in. Hey, everybody. Hey, Rod, say hi to your audience.
Hello, hello. How y'all doing? Come on in. Come on in, invite a friend, and now tell them to tell two friends, and so
Oh,
on and so
you know what I'm
on.
saying? Your friend could get with my friend. We could be friends. Remember that? And that's what
Yeah,
got him in trouble. He should have kept it off, on the side, keep too much in people in your business.
yeah. You know that was a hair commercial years ago.
Was it?
The what I said, you tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and so on and so on and so on.
I didn't know that. So he
Yeah,
kept this, you
it,
know,
it's it's
it's like
this
Pantene.
is a pre-internet viral. How you go viral before the internet through the gossip circle?
Oh, that's cool. A friend can, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell a friend. Anyway, y'all check on in. We're going to talk a lot about, I want to get into a lot of things, Ron, because I was trying to get on with you during the inauguration, with Mr. Kamala. I know she's homeless right now, you know what I'm saying? Drinking a Hennessy and smoking a blunt. It's okay, Mr. Kamala. You lost, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? And then we got the orange man. He's causing a wreck, gaslighting everybody, Geminiing it up. So we can discuss like a little bit of
Screen. But we don't know the culture of the land and we don't know how we used to treat conditions of the foreigners that came. So if you don't know what we used to do, you don't know what is these stories telling you. They telling us the history, but they ain't telling us in the history class. They telling us in arts and entertainment. They telling us in the music, right? Because they know we not gonna trust the politicians. They already know this because they all slime balls puppets, and all of them is controlled from somewhere else. Somebody else control every politician in on the land. Now, the only place where you get where the people actually have control is what you call grassroots politics. That means your local government, your city council, your mayor, your sheriff. That's it. Police don't supposed to be here. They slave catchers. The sheriff is supposed to be elected from among the people with the one with the most skills to be able to maintain order on the land with the least amount of resistance. The more skilled that the person is, the more likely he is to get elected as sheriff or sharif, right? The birthright heir sharif on the land is Peastone Chief Malik Angel Bay. He is the blood right heir to enforce the rules of the mother's house, the red house. And the rules of the red house is how to regulate the land. That's his job, what he was born to do. He was held incapacitated as a bond servant by the corporate entity called the United States under a doctrine of COINTELPRO tied to a sub doctrine called Readiness Exercise 1984. And the wall is the trigger to tell you how to activate it. And the wall is 45, right? That Desert Eagle. And the 45 is Trump. Trump sounds the trumpet, right? To let you know that the law had to be restored on the land in order to put the lawman back on the land. So first they have to tear down the corporation, remove the admiralty jurisdiction, go to the jurisdiction of the republic. Then they have to flip from the peacetime seal to the wartime seal because the peacetime seal is really a fraud time seal. The fraud is the illusion of peace while we ain't never not been at war. Ever since these people came over here, there's not a 20-year stretch where there's not a major war going on that they got their nose in. They got their nose in every hog killing come up, and we taking the credit for it because we not stepping up and saying enough is enough. You ain't got to do no marching. Divorce yourself from the system. But you got to do it in mass. Everybody got to participate that know who they are. The ones who don't know who they are, you can't expect them to be no good for nothing, no way. They already confused, lost in the sauce. Right? So we got all of the mental power and prowess to restore everything on the land. We have the leaderships and the councils of elders capable of giving us wise advice to overcome the opposition before us, but we first got to take them back from the invaders who's squatting on the land masquerading as our government and as our law and law enforcement. None of them got nothing to do with us. All of them are foreign agents representing the foreign body politic under the power, auspices, authority, and jurisdiction of the Vatican and the Crown of England. The other ones lost a right. The French, the Spanish, they lost their rights in this war for America a long time ago. But believe me, they came first as gentry, right? When you go look and you look at the garb of the ones who claim to have purchased Manhattan for trinkets, they was wearing knickerbockers. You can't never forget that, because knickerbockers is a form or article of clothing that's not from over here. We never wore knickerbockers. We didn't wear buckle shoes. We wore moccasins, we wore leather bottom shoes, but they wasn't those box shoes with that big ass belt buckle on them either. That was European. So go back and look at the seals of New York, the seals of each one of the boroughs, and it'll tell you that you were being deceived into believing that you lost your land when you can't lose your land as long as you live on it. Shout out ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, Chief Crazy Horse, the baddest to ever do it. Shout out to the big Christopher Wallace, notorious sitting bull, sitting on his post. Took that public lashing like a man. Shouldn't have never let the enemy come in. Shout out to Tupac Amaru, motherfucker, ride or die. Da 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 da. For publicly lashing the chief that sat on the post while the rest of the chiefs was being blindsided and subjugated. Shout out to Raekwon the chief, aka Raekwon the chef. Shout out to the killer priest. Keep on killing them with the knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? All these chiefs involved in this shit, we ain't all part of the same motherfucking clan, but we all part of the same motherfucking land. And when we realize that the enemy is just trying to get us convinced that we don't belong on our own land, all we got to do is stand together like the band of the hand. You dig? Now that's a black power fist for you. Knock your motherfucking ass straight. Yeah. So look, go back to the Harriet Tubman story. There's a famous quote from Harriet Tubman, and I want y'all to analyze this for a minute. She said, I could have saved more slaves had they known they were slaves. Let that marinate for a minute. Go back to what we said earlier about the heirs' property in the heritable lands, right? And then remember what she said. If they knew they were slaves, I could have saved more of them. They didn't know they were slaves. What did they think they were if they didn't think they were slaves? Right? What did they think they were? Did they think they was what? They thought they was in Brazil? What they thought they were, what they was doing at that place they called the plantation. Right? Think about that for a minute. She could have saved more slaves had they known they were slaves. Listen, when you go back and read, now remember, they wasn't allowed to teach us to read or write. They wasn't entitled to sell us any property. They not allowed to do banking with us. They robbing Big Mama banks as outlaws to shut them down. And we had the largest heirs property out of any other ethnic group on the land, and they don't know they slaves. Remember that part. Now, remember, before it was called the Big House, it was called Big Mama House, and it was the family farm and the family headquarters. So she's going to save somebody from being a slave from their family farm that's been infiltrated. But that's why they don't know they slaves. They don't know they slaves because they living on their heirs' land, and their heirs' land is being ran by a foreigner. I could have saved more of them had they known they were slaves. They wasn't slaves. A prisoner of war. They were enslaved, and being a slave is not the same thing. Being captured as the spoils of war and being a slave is not the same thing if you don't never stop fighting. Okay, now reclassification comes in, right? Everything is handed down on the land through the mother's line. The heritable heirs' rights comes through the mother's line of heritability. Right? This is why they want you to tie to a nationality, because you tie into your status as black in law or civilly mortis as a national, because they saying that the Plymouth wreck caused all of the ships that was docked across the land, so to speak, which was the sea to shiny sea concept of the song. The sea to shiny sea was the expanse of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction over the land to connect the Atlantic and Pacific boundary lines and tie them together. We ain't paying attention. We just think we is. And then if some crazy nigga like Rod Hayes come along and say, have y'all noticed this and gave it any thought? Let's examine this for a minute. All of the tribes over here, the male chiefs protected the clan, and the female chiefs gave him the criteria by which they knew that they need to be protected, right? So if we didn't have a matriarchal council to see what was morally repugnant to us as a collective, then the chief had to figure it out on his own. We had war. Everybody got a piece. Everybody got a position. Everybody have to play their part in order for all of us to win as a collective. This is how you get one tribe marching the totem pole across the land, or several tribes posting that to reclaim DC in 2017. Then you have me giving them in 2019 public notices to cancel the contracts for treaty contracts for fraud and non-performance. Then you got Empress Redbird receiving the paperwork to verify that my part was done, tying me and her together in this struggle. Then you got Sipico, who put the Pope on public notice about the no longer following Vatican rule, going back to the Great Law. The Pope gives her a response by repealing the discovery doctrine, which is the foundational instrument of the slave system. Then we had the J16 committee, the shaman, one of the chiefs from the land, sent in the ceremonial shaman to occupy the Pelosi seat with a Republic flag behind the Admiralty flag in order for the Republic to seize it back from the water. Now it's back to the jurisdiction of the land, right? So you got a whole bunch of different tribes. You got the ceremonial Muskogee Creek under the direction of the Muskogee Creek, the Washita, and a few other clans, serving public notice on Atlanta and Cop City and the surrounding area. See, we be forgetting about that stuff, but we so busy trying to tell people who got rights to the land that we are stepping on allies in reckless behavior, right? we ain't worried about the allies. We worried about the enemies. We worried about the ones that's been infiltrating us, turning us against each other from the inside out. If you tear down a house divided, can't stand. Right? So stop fighting them people. They came here to give you aid and assistance, and you can tell by how impoverished their reservation was. If they don't have no casinos, they did not take sides with the enemy. Telling you that now. If they don't got casinos and they ain't getting no fat ass check from the government without having to work, they did not take sides with the enemy. Stop fighting them. Stop fighting them. That's the wrong fight. The ones who took sides with the enemy that like to drive in their $250,000 cars wearing their $1,800 suits with their $5,000 gator skin shoes on, they live in upstate gated communities off the res, them the ones you need to be worried about. They ain't worried because they know that when you figure it out, you're going to attack the ones that look like them that came to help us. All of them didn't come to help, and all of them didn't come to hurt. It's two sides to this, the righteous and the unrighteous. Look at how the government treat the tribe, and you will know if the government have any respect for them or if they made an allegiance with us. This is why you had them all in Seminole Wars. They keep trying to tell y'all that we was the runaway slaves that joined the Seminole Resistance. No, we wasn't. We was old Mississippian chiefs. We was old Alibaba chiefs from Alabama. We was Razorback chiefs coming in to fight this war and run these mothers off the land. And we ran into a situation where we was losing too many casualties on both sides. Ceasefire, conjure war, who gonna educate themselves above the condition, or who gonna allow themselves to be drowned in the dogma of the false doctrines. That's it. This is just that simple. Stop with the divide and conquer. We had the Irish Republic Army. We was sending them support over there to overthrow motherfuckers too. And they was sending us support over here when we was fighting England. They was fighting them too. The Irish has been one of the biggest allies to the tribes over here. And this is why they had free run of the Appalachians. That's where they wanted to set up their tribal camps. And now we treating them like they didn't fight on our behalf because the enemy got us thinking anybody that ain't dark as me or darker is the enemy, and nothing can be further for the truth. Look, Chief Warhorse darker than me, but my hair is nappy. Hers is straight, naturally. I got a nephew that got naturally straight hair, and he's chocolate, darker than me. My brother over me got curly hair like a Puerto Rican. My brother under me hair, nappy like mine, but it's red. We got it all in the tribes. It's in the blood. We got the oldest blood and the representation in our blood of every clan on the planet. It's every woman with mitochondria on this planet has an uninterrupted mitochondrial line back to one of 12 or 13 women. The original bloodlines of the earth, the Grail blood, is the holy bloods of the great mothers, plural. The 13 tribes, which was the 12 daughters of Isis and her tribe. Isis had a set, and her 12 daughters all gave to different phenotypes, skin complexions, hair textures, heights. These daughters of Isis is the mothers of the earth, and they come in all skin tones. And we be fighting over the doctrines of men as if they some holy truth when they some holy bullshit. Even the a lot of the pale-faced Jews took sides with us. We have a conjure woman in California. She's a Jewish lady. Been doing this for over 50 years, named Catherine Yorwood. But she was given and entrusted the secrets by elders in our community in order to give it back to us as our teacher. And then when we see her, we act like we can't read the doctrine she given us to know if she was sanctioned by a big mama on the land. Because we don't know how to look at that stuff no more. Because the 12-step detox from thinking that they call school and effed us up. All of the Irish ain't even yellow. Some of them by my complexion. The daughters of Scotia, they was with freckles. They was chocolate with freckles or caramel with freckles and red hair, auburn red hair. And the daughter of Scotta was buttermilk complexion with fiery red hair. They still do a red hair festival, daughters of Scotta, to this day in Ireland. So anybody want to come up and chop it up with the chief? I'm about to let y'all up. If y'all wanna chat. If you do, just send me a request and I'll let you up. Look here, is this it? Okay, I don't got no requests so far. Oh, there go one. You know, a lot of us don't know. Like that purple tint, that's the same way that the chlorophyll affect purple grapes. Is the same way that you have those people that be purple black. They don't really be black. They be shades of blue, which is the purple shade, which is an old bloodline. Mm-hmm. And we done been smashed these mofos. We gotta watch the rollout while they tearing it apart in our face, and people having tizzy fits because they don't know what's going on. Davion, they ain't letting you up. It say adding on there, but you ain't came up yet. Um, okay. James Taylor, I'm gonna try you now. Look, I told y'all they have to start. She asked me about the planes. They have to cause chaos on their way out. The more chaos they cause, the closer we know to their final exposure. They creating, kicking, and screaming on the way out. They gonna try to create all of the panic they can, but we not panicking no more because we see all this BS coming. Sam, I don't know when we gonna see the three chiefs. I just know that we still in closing everything out because the work that Trump doing is showing us that we still had a ways to go. He done signed 50 executive orders already or more. Revolution will not be televised, but it's showing the fuck gonna play out on social media. Yeah, the division is the horrible thing. Look, even the Mexicans, right? You got different groups of Mexican that identify with different people. You got the ones that identify with the tribes. Then you got the ones who identify. Then you got the ones who identify with the Spaniard. Those are the ones you got to be leery of. Them the ones that's gonna cut your throat, cross out artists, right? Then you have those they not ethnically taking sides, but they philosophically taking sides with some
political agenda or jargon somewhere. I didn't watch the Super Bowl performance, but I seen a couple of good breakdowns on it. Yeah. Y'all gotta make sure y'all check if y'all trying to get up.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's like the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. The
Yeah.
Brady Bunch. So Mr. Rod Hayes, I want to introduce, everybody knows you already, but I always like to give you an introduction. And I always like to kind of get deep into like who you really are. You know what I mean? Because let me just get some gossip off the table. Rod, can I do that?
Let's go. Let's get some
Release
gossip off the table.
can I release the Kraken?
Release the Kraken. Release the Kraken.
For those, there's some ladies, Rod, that like to write me about you, and they seem to think that me and you are doing a rodeo. You know what I mean? We're doing a tango, and they're mad at me because they say that you like women. I think they prefer you like men. So can you validate that you're a man that likes, that is
I'm
a
a whole
healthy.
man. I love women. And me and Flo Burn ain't never been in the same room at the same time in real life.
That's what I'm saying. Stop accusing. Just because we talking doesn't mean everything is about that life. You know what I mean? You can't even have a conversation nowadays, Rod. It's like God darn. I know
I
everybody's a
almost said
trans.
some real grown gutter in the street stuff right then.
We
I
gonna
was
keep
close.
listen. We gonna keep it PG, but if we gotta go there, we gotta go there. So I just want to tell you, very wicked, very low vibrational females, stop it already. If you have a crush on Rod, write him. Stop writing me. Stop being a
No, don't
hate.
write me. Don't write me because I don't got time for it right now. Don't write me. I ain't got time for it right now. I'm trying to free our people.
He
And
told he told you all not to contact him. Leave me alone. I told you I'm a trans frog, and now Trump won't let me be that anymore. I told you, you know that, right? I'm a trans, uh, homosexual, gay, white, Jewish man. I just wanted to come out of the closet, but now Trump won't let me be that. He said there's only two genders. Even though he's orange, he's not letting me be who I truly think I am or believe I am with my mental illness. So I just want to put that on the table.
look, people, when they don't know where your sources of light from, they try to dim it and they use the most poorest quality of demeaning methods.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff that don't even make sense.
Sure.
They can recognize everybody except they celebrities, they famous cross-dressing celebrities that they think
Hello.
men and women. They can't recognize them.
No, no.
They get hard or mad you call one of them cross-dressers a cross-dresser.
Oh, they get mad, you know. Now the passports have to say their real sex. You know that, right? They're having conniptions right now that when they're going to get their passports, it actually designates the sex that they were born with. They're very upset, Rod.
Well, they shouldn't change what God gave them. They
Ooh,
wouldn't have a reason to be upset.
I know that's right. When keeping it real is keeping it real. Anyway, so Rod, we're gonna wait until we get to 500. So let me dive deep, Rod. So Rod, where are you originally from? Where you from? Where you roll? Where you come from? Where you be?
I was born in Cook County Hospital on November the 10th, 1968.
Ooh,
We stayed in Chicago for a while. Then we moved to Michigan because my father got a job working as an auto worker.
that's right. The automobile industry was big then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we stayed in Pontiac for a while. Then we had a family crisis. We ended up moving back to Chicago
Mhm.
and we stayed there for a little while. Then my mother relocated with the children to Grand Rapids, which is 2 hours northwest of um, Pontiac.
I heard it's really pretty there, Grand
Yeah,
Rapids. Yeah,
we used to love Grand Rapids when we lived there. I still love Grand Rapids. It's a nice city to be in,
yeah,
especially now that a lot of this generation that's coming up now, they colorblind.
they can. They
They,
can
they
enjoy
don't.
it. Everybody can be together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
In the 80s, a lot of people don't know after. the Vietnam War in the 80s. They
Mhm.
brought a whole lot of Vietnamese to the Americas that was helping the military.
Hmm.
And they have a sizable community of them that was relocated up around Grand Rapids.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. One of my best friends is Vietnamese. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't see color until they got here.
Oh yeah, color doesn't exist. Well, isn't it more of a political status? You know what I mean? And
It's a military doctrine.
mhm.
It's
And
it's
we
it's designed to separate groups of people so they're more controllable.
absolutely control. And don't you, and we kind of talked about before that the indigenous people that are brown copper skinned people like yourself and myself were originally here and that they kept redesignating their status like as first they were Negro, then they were colored, then black, something like that, and then African American
Well,
to kind of take away their rights to who their original indigenous status in the United States.
you can't take somebody's stuff. Like if you live it in your house, I can't just move in there without moving you out.
Well, you could.
You about to get some more hate mail. But look, people can't do that. You can't come to somebody else's land that's inviting everybody in the world. America before Columbus came had an open door policy.
That's right. Absolutely.
All we invited all of the orphans of the world. That's why in our families that's been here for the longest, you got all skin colors and hair textures,
Yeah. And
and they don't.
blood
Yeah,
types.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they don't always match up. Like you might have a chocolate brown sister with blonde hair naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody be like, look at her. She want trying to be white. She dyed her hair. She didn't dye her hair.
No. You see it in Brazil all the time. Brazil is like the mirror to what we are here, to be honest. Like the multiculturalism, the different complexions, but they still have a lot of, racism over there.
Yeah.
Um,
And well, they got colorism.
mhm, mhm.
Colorism. The colorism was the tool used to force the people to amalgamate with the settlers that came.
Yeah.
They got a term. The term is called Brazilianization.
Mhm.
And what it means is when the melding pot is melding and you blending all of the ethnic groups together and you finally get a successful blend, they are Brazilianized now,
That's right. Because that's where
right?
my people came from originally, like the northern part of Brazil and French Guyana, which is Cayenne. And that's what they did. They were just harmonic and the French, well, actually people don't think they think it's mostly Portuguese that went over there. It's actually a lot of Italians. Rome didn't dissipate. It just relocated to South America.
It
But
expanded.
uh-huh, uh-huh,
Everywhere that the Catholic Church has a presence, it's a Roman presence.
absolutely.
Rome became the Catholic Church in order to sidestep the political drama.
Hmm.
They control Democrats, Republicans, socialists, communists. All
Jesuit.
that's all that's controlled. Those political parties is controlled, or political ideologies is controlled through Rome. The Republic was discussed on the Senate floors in ancient Rome, and this is where Plato get his Plato's Republic. And they talked about the styles of government way back then, and they was trying to find one that would work on large groups of people from different backgrounds.
Mhm.
So when they told us Alexander conquered the world, he didn't literally conquer the world. He found the scrolls of government in the Indus Valley in the mountains of Tibet, which tells them how to govern over mass groups of people from varying backgrounds and what to control in order to not have to micromanage individuals,
Sure. And
right? So,
they had a genetic understanding that some people were sensitive to sugar and alcohol as well.
yeah.
Mm.
If you go back to the Aztec um, paintings, you see that they was taking alcohol enemas. They was preparing for somebody to bring alcohol over here
Mhm. Mhm.
because it wasn't a common staple to the people over here. We wasn't alcoholics.
That's right.
We
And
didn't need it. We didn't need something called escapism to cope with life. We
just like
live life,
we,
and that's
yeah,
how we cope.
absolutely, absolutely. And also just with my genetic background, bees are hypersensitive to sugar, and they had an understanding that the indigenous here had a sensitivity, didn't have an enzyme. So what is perceived to be addiction to alcohol is just an allergy that has a really good feeling. So bees are hypersensitive to it. And we know we have a high concentration of A bees in the United States and throughout Central and South America. So, that having an understanding of someone's genetic makeup, like you said, being able to study and know how different groups react to certain kind of social ideology or type of control systems helps because you can control them. If you can't control them from the outer perimeters, you can control them from the inner.
The most functional. You ever see drink champs?
What is it? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know that's an ancient cultural phenomenon. When we used to use the peace pipe and the herb, but
Yes.
when the settlers came, we started using alcohol
Mm,
in negotiations so we can
yeah,
find out what they really want.
yes, yes. I've heard that. Yes.
Yeah. So the drink champs was the retread of the powwow circle when we smoked the herb because you can't sit there and smoke herb with somebody and then they sit there and tell you a bald faced lie without knowing they lying,
That's right.
right? But they say a drunk man speak what?
The truth.
A sober man,
Never mind. Yes, yes. Yes.
right? So they say if you want the truth, listen to babies and drunk folks.
That is so true. You'll always get the truth from the young and